Okay, it just turned 9 o'clock, and to me, that's the end of Asian session. My version of Asian session would be these baby bars here. I'm just going to put up the crude template. These are big bars, so I can see. So we had this thrusting motion. At the climax punctuation, head for the doors, Who concert version of trading, and we just went into the seller's window at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday night. So there's this trade, right? There's always the trade coming out of Asia. How can you tell you're in Asia? Because it looks like the market's closed. Is a rough estimation. Somebody asked me how long I've been looking at the markets and trading. I'd say the first one was Investors Business Daily, and I'd say 1987. In 1985, I bought a computer, a 286, and a printer for $5,000. It was $3,500. It's a $3,500 compact portable too. $3,500 with I think it had 64K RAM or something crazy like that. And I really did want to be a one of these traders, super trader. So I got all the pro shit. I could afford. I had pro quotes sent on a Lotus 123 signal on an FM station. Then I bought the $2,000. I paid $100 a month for 2 years to the two guys that ran Trade Station, and then they said, and I had to get they would mail me in the mail a parallel port key so that every month I could get into the program. Ran Windows 98 on 13 diskettes for quite a while, and I had real-time quotes, so I was paying another $270 a month for real-time feeds, which when I saw forex was free at real-time, I said, oh, that looks better. And so forex is a different animal because of the fact that they outlawed it in the United States, because I guess it was kind of putting a crunch on who was ever making that $270 a month. They must have lobbied Congress. I don't think there's a lot of stories about it, but in a conspiratorial approach to reality of history, I'd say there is maybe some shenanigans going on there. But there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to go for the next, a true capitalist just goes for the next dead soul to reanimate. Don't forget, Jesus came back from the dead, so he was resurrected. So it's a resurrection. It's the hope, right? People don't go to church because they think Jesus... They go there for the, Jesus nailed the cross, all stuff. He sacrificed, right? So he fits every bill for people. He's sacrificial. He rose from the dead. The Phoenix story. There's nothing unique about the Catholic religion. It's just a template for things get better. So, and that's why people trade in the first place. At least I do, because you don't know what's going to happen. If you knew what was going to happen, it would be like a Twilight Zone episode where you're in hell because you know everything that's going to be the outcome. Anybody see the Twilight Zone episode where this guy's a real chronic Vegas participant, and he finds out that he's winning all the time, and now he's like, this is fucked. I don't even know the name of that episode, but I'm sure it's out there in the archives of Rod Serling's sideways view of the world. His way to profile the market, profile the landscape of ethics and morals, I suppose. And is trading ethical? I one of my super liberal friends who's he switched teams. He thinks that all traders are evil because they're just taking advantage of other people, and that bankers that are charging interests are taking. I mean, this whole thing about, if you're going to sit on Wall Street and protest, then you'd probably never be wealthy because your subconscious wouldn't let you. it's too much money. Money's bad. Don't have money. So the people that are trying to, I guess, be John Lennon, but they can't afford it because John could afford it because he had all those songs he'd written. He could sleep in bed with his wife for like 30 days or whatever. He could be a complete no nothing. And what he wrote the scripts though. He wrote the songs, so they paid. That code paid a lot of money, and he was just coding. You know, he's just writing lyrics, for God's sake. There's no difference. So that's what I'm trying to do here, because I'm a musician and I'm looking at the market in kind of a tactical situation of I'm in a song and the market's playing a song, and is there a place for me to take a solo? Is there a way I can squeeze a word in edgewise? I'm just waiting for the pause. Now, for that's going to wait for the doji. I'm waiting for the, when can I pull the fucking trigger? Okay, basically my mindset approach to trading is there something I can pull the trigger on right now, or am I waiting to get hit by the market? Is the market coming at me, or am I chasing it? Anytime you trade at the market, you're chasing. You have to be. The only way you're not chasing when you buy and sell at the market is that you think that it's never going to go against you. From the moment, once you're filled, the next tick that comes in, is it going to be up or down? And then how many ticks up and down from there? So when people talk the market's not random. On the way to some price, the volume will be unique in the next 28 minutes, and the movements will be unique. They're like snowflakes. In a 5-decimal broker, think about it. The resolution of distribution is so high. What do you think the repetition rate is? Not to mention, and I'll stop without completing that session. Not to mention, there is no fucking, like most brokers, 5 seconds before the top of the hour is when there's a 5-second gap between bars on your chart, okay? On the 1 minute chart, there's a 5-second gap. On the 1 hour chart, there's a 5-second gap between each candle. So you can get an abandoned baby. It's very subtle, right? You'd have to fix the scale and zoom into this. And a lot of things got out at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock. Boom, they're out. Boom, they're out. And the breakout traders are out, and the scalpers. So you can see everybody's trade here. There should be like four trades on every chart. We've got the, I'm going to do the super zoom in. I have Windows cranked 200% in Windows 8, so it's the only way to get these charts. You can't really surf the internet very well at this res because a lot of programs won't even load at this res. It's about resolution. See, the old charts I used to run too is that I'm kind of stuck with my first trading experience was on a 80 line screens, right? 80 lines, so it's chunky. And then I had this thing called, which I missed so totally. I really want to try to buy another version of it. Is a thing called Mac Stores. They called it desk. They called it some type of oh gosh, I can't remember the hotkey system. But it was so clean. It would just jump, and you could pan your whole screen. There was no lag, and it was just big fat bars because it was low res. We're talking 1024 768 monitor. And the software is written to do it. And it's nice and clean. So when I zoom one level from here to here, it's a completely different mindset of what the trade's going to be. Also, this is enough to even backtest the whole system right here. You don't have to backtest 500 years of data. It ain't going to change a fucking thing the way these markets behave. There's no fucking way. It's like the market is unfolding into the world. I mean, price is unfolding into the world. Or another way to look at it is, if you're on a bridge and the water's rising, that's most people's view of reality. Most people don't stand on a bridge and watch the water come up and say the bridge is sinking. But if you think about, if you've never seen that situation, You could make that mistake. We can make that mistake. Anybody could make that mistake. So looking at it like that, are you standing on the bridge with a limit order? Your limit order is locked. You're waiting for the water to come up and hit you, or are you chasing the bridge with stops? If the bridge could be a stop, if you could be a tree, what tree would you be? So and it's chasing, it's trailing. Now, either this is going to be a passive entry for a confirmation person that's going to say, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Okay, I'm jumping around a little bit. If you approach the market like you know what the fuck's going to happen, it's completely different if you don't know what the fuck's going to happen. And both people can make money. You don't have to know the market's going to make money. And somebody asked me about the hedging. Why would you get into a hedge? Well, maybe you've been taken into the hedge because your tactics take you there. He says, and this is the argument, well, why would you hedge? Why don't you just take a position and get stopped out? Why don't you just take a direction? Why don't you take a bias and get stopped out? But you are taking a bias and get stopped out of a hedge strategy. It's a blend. Okay, you don't play guitar like you're only going to play A sharp, and G all night long. Everything you write has to be 3 notes. The market isn't going to be like this. The market is like a piece of music that makes it doesn't sound good. So they call it noise. When you look at the chart, they say it's noise. Yes, there's nothing going on there. Where's the chorus? What's the song about? Well, the chorus would be the trend. The verse is the cause for the chorus. The verse is the chop. That's all the little subtle bullshit that builds to the chorus. If anybody's wanted to see the movie, only because I went to see this movie, I guess I'm stuck on it, is the Star is Born with this girl that normally dresses up like a clown, but she's like playing this role. The hit song for that is about that situation where they take you right to the verse. It's about the surface. They take you through it. And I sound like a flat earther, but they take you through the surface, and it's called "We're Out of the Shallows Now." So that is always the verse, the shallow, the noise. And so they go off the deep end, and they go in, and it's total euphoria. This is a winning trade. They're making money. So the tension in these verses, in these congestions, in that is so unique. But there is kind of a cliche. We're either going to have a tight congestion, or we're going to have one hesitation. Now, this is called a measured move. The measured move is one hesitation. In the pound CAD on the 1 hour chart, if you said to somebody, show me the price pulse measured move on this chart, I would have to say the obvious one is the one in the middle here that looks like this. One down, big down, hesitation, only one pullback on the 1 hour, and another completion. Now, just like in the crude oil chart, it's the same story, different situation. If we draw a trend line on this insane sell-off, which is from Crazyville, right? Down, down, down. If we project off this low, targets are hit. It's unfucking believable. In fact, you overshot the target. Right? You overshot it. If you take the clunky line. Now, the nice thing about line charts is, how can you deny this bottom connects to this bottom, overshoots? This is a measured move. The node in the middle of this line is halfway, so you've already got your 50% in the can. From this candle to this extension, okay, you're off by a little bit maybe. If you take it to here, it's nearly dead on, right? The inside undercut velocity smash down of the pound CAD. Now, if you were in this trade, Who's in this trade and why does it go down so fucking hard? And I'm just using the cloud for the drama of the move. It's just picking out the high drama. This is the noise cut back. Now, you're not going to go short here because it's blue. Now, this is the subtlety of the 4-period moving average. I got pretty much in here. What I got? I got like a 1, 2, and a 4-period moving average. Different kinds of styles, and they're stacked up, and it looks cool to me. And then so we have this revisit of this area. Now this is your little, you could call it a supply zone. It's not. I learned what an ICT breaker is. Don't forget, ICT trades the 15-minute chart. ICT. A lot of people, these guys talk about the 15-minute chart. Okay, you better have you better just be sitting there babysitting the fucking market, because you can make quite a bit of money. But you got to sit there. You got to sit there, right? Here, it's a completely different lifestyle. Like 15-minute chart to me on this cloud, I can see all the fucking perfect trades. Everybody can, right? And that's nothing. You got to hope. Every time is that everybody can kind of see. You tell them anytime it's going up in a blue or down in a green, you want to buy. And that's the simplest trade plan I can think of on the planet, right? I mean, let me go to the 1-hour charts a little smoother. We go to 15-minute in a little bit, but it's too much. It's just too fucking much. Okay, we'll go to half hour. We'll take ourselves there slowly. On the half-hour chart, in the cloud system, you could say to somebody, if it's blue, now, of course, you know this. You'd have to babysit somebody through it, I guess, to guide them, like, okay, this is what you probably want to do here. Okay, make a left. Oh, no, not over the children. No, not the sidewalk. You see, there's like a road here. Now, this would be as bad as, this is going to happen to somebody. Hopefully the kid's already played it on his fucking tablet. Like the virtual driving. How are these kids? So I saw this guy at Starbucks with his little cute kid. Now, the dad is about 6'6". It was a freak show. Dad 6'6", kid's fucking like 2'2". And I'm like, oh boy. And the kid's on his little tablet or whatever. And he was making it through the Starbucks stores on the way out, but his dad opened the door and Junior, just kind of with trusting, kind of, I can't remember if he went for the second set of doors on his own, but this kid should be trading, for God's sakes. What the fuck? At least this goofy system. And of course, we would take it down to the 4-hour charts to keep you from over trading it. So I would say if you're over trading the market, and just go to the 4-hour chart. Even in the cloud system, you're making money in the 4-hour chart. Not the best, not the best trades, but these are the goober trades here. Comes back to the cloud. You buy, Because you realize that there is structure you're coming up into. Don't forget, you're never getting away from this shit. This will always be the trap or the reversal zone. There, I should say, the guy that doesn't want to trade reversals, who is, what a dumb shit. No nonsense forex. Dude, it's more like, instead of 140 indicators, think of about 3 techniques to get in the market. It's about technique. Everybody can play fucking guitar. Everybody has a 6-string guitar tuned about basically the same, right? Unless you're Joni Mitchell. You got like you got just a standard guitar, dude. Stevie Ray made a lot of money with a Stratocaster and a whammy bar, right, and a wah-wah pedal. There's enough to express yourself with there. You don't have to. You don't need all that shit. Same thing with the market. How are you getting these trades? Why is there no speak of execution? Because that's what trading is execution, unfortunately. Did you pull the trigger? Well, I thought that was the only way to trade, honestly. It wasn't until about, I think 8 years ago, I said to myself, the aha moment, which I never read in the book, was when I put an order really super deep, 180 pips deep on euro to the yen, and no stops, and that trade was up $80, and then it was up $140. And I said, wow, that's just amazing. I didn't even have to be there for that trade. I actually made so much money just putting an order in totally randomly. Actually, I just said, some down here somewhere. Sounds good. Well, how could you be so imprecise with money? What is wrong with you? Damn, boy, what's got in your head? You're just throwing money around like a drunk. God, I was at this fucking show last night. Oh, my God. Dude, people, step back from the alcohol, Just because you're in a venue that sells it, it's like a herd of people, zombies. I mean, I thought people were more woke than that. I just don't get out much, apparently. I'm like, really? Okay, well, you know what? Dude, you're fucking 70 years old. Sit down and watch the show. I can understand the young kids, doing cartwheels. But when you're above like 70, cut back a little. Just saying. Just for a public service announcement to totally fucking old zombie drinkers. Now, it's your March. I just want to say to No Nonsense Forex guy, I know he watches my stuff all the time. Just kidding. These people don't even know. One guy was telling me, oh, that's so funny. I go, don't tell anybody. I mean, I want to get copyright striked or something or sent to YouTube prison for an extended amount of time. Yeah, who wants to get pulled over on the PIP highway? Boy, the market does look closed right now, doesn't it? It's deader than a doornail, son. Well, on the 4-hour chart, it does look like the market's closed. That's why people want the 1-minute chart, because it's got more price action. Honey, go 1-minute chart. It's got more action. Looks like it crashed the platform there, requesting that data. I'm going to fill up the buttercup on that. So on 1-minute chart, look at this beautiful setup here. Don't let that spread scare you away now. Son, that spread's just there to help you. Now, see, this is the problem with trading. And the people always say, does it work on the 1-minute chart? I don't know. Is the spread tighter than 2.5 pips plus commission? Let me see your spread calculator. Because on the 5-minute chart, okay, there's a nice setup. Oh, it's gone. Was there a minute? Here's a cloud trade. Buy when it pulls back into the yellow. When it's yellow, get in here. I got perfect structure. 5-minute chart. Beautiful. Top become a bottom right there in the cloud. Oh, just like I pictured it. Now, don't forget there's people selling above here. All the super daring traders that put their limits in a grid up here. They're already up on every fucking ticket if they can get stopped out. Well, what is your... Then people ask, well, what is your ratio? Whatever you want it to be. Like, I think that it's about dollars. It's not about pips. Like, if you're going to say, I'm going to put an order up here and I'm going to sell and I'm going to do that trade, and I learned it on TV. This is the one time view use. Actually, you're up in that trade. The ask is below that window right now. And you could just be flat right now. You're all the way back to the pivot, too. Don't forget you're coming to Asia. So, yeah, trading with George Bush. Coming into Asia. So we got, it's going to be half hour. I'm looking at the half-hour chart, and I'm looking at the clock, and I'm like, holy shit, we are up on that scalp. We sold where the bulls got out. We're geniuses. That's how you trade. Look at that's the trade right there. Now what? I said, let's buy here tonight. Let's put orders here at this lonely wick, and that's trading. That's all there is to it. Just keep doing it over and over. It's not that hard, really. Here, once again, now this is all manually ordered here. These are all manual orders. Look all the times I could have got out of that and I didn't. Look at Top Tick Tommy did not get filled there at the top of that. Well, you look at that. Look at how this is all noisy. I like when people say, I don't look at anything smaller than the 4. Well, sometimes the 4-hour chart, dude, is just noisy as fuck. You got to go the daily, and then that's noisy. And then you go the weekly, and you go, that's noisy. You go the monthly, you're like, it looks like it's going up. The monthly chart. And this is another thing that's really disturbing about these markets is that you want to trade Australia, U.S., you better trade on the monthly because it ain't doing shit. And it barely fucking moves, okay? Per pip. Now, this you can trade super big on this, though. See, this is where you should trade super big because you can really not make any money and you can't hardly lose any money. It's not going anywhere. But I'm in this fucking trade. When you know it, on the demo, I'd already be out of the trade. There's no way I'd fucking endure all these fucking equity swings. Are you fucking nuts? I'm not going to sit in these goddamn trades. I'm going to scalp this fucker for an hour and ride it for 4. You really think I want to get dragged into this drama? I'm not the guy that's going to trade this monthly. I can see the trade. I'm not retarded. Not like everybody says. Here's the beautiful divergence here. Does it get any better than this? In the world of divergences, this is textbook shit here. You're above the 70. Now, granted, I'm running a 3-period RSI, but it doesn't matter. Right? Doesn't matter. Look at this triple divergence. It'll blow your mind. That's very powerful. On the 3-period, you know, it's a little suspicious because it is so insane, but it's a hidden divergence. Well, almost. If this came above that, but we have a top, bottom, and RSI. So this is the leading edge of top become bottom. The top becomes a bottom in RSI. That's where I got the concept from of the line chart, is the RSI is based on close. It's as simple as that. Also, you can put levels on all your, and you can trade the structure of RSI. Got a double top. Looking to take that out. Got support here. Here's the pivot. Bottom becomes the bottom, becomes the top, becomes the bottom. There's the pivots. If you take your RSI and you stretch it the fuck out, oh, it's all of a sudden makes sense. Pure closing index. Here is the rejection. This bottom is supposed to be up top. It's supposed to keep going down. You draw a trend line on that. Looking for a break of that trend line. Boom. All right, that's your first sign of hope for the market. Now you've got to fix the scale to replicate the drama of the 3-period RSI stretched to half your fucking screen. Of course, we'll zoom in. So this is when I dug down on it because I spent like $2,000 with Cardwell on his course, and I said, let me dig. You know, he's like a southern goof that doesn't, nice as fuck guy, but I mean, dude, really? He had these printouts. I'm not kidding you. Like does anybody know what a mimeograph machine is? Or like it faxed like 5 faxes of degradation. Here is a bar chart, he says. Here's RSI. He prints these books out. He's got this course he made up so cute. But it's true what he's saying there, which I didn't like, was whenever it gets everything I've ever learned about overbought, oversold, is that if it's overbought, you're looking for it to go the other way. And no, in a true trend, if RSI is above a certain amount, on a 14-period standard. But I use the 50 line. Another thing, I clean up his, to me, I simplified RSI. If you're above 50 on the index, there's nothing fancy here. Another half cut thing. 930 is coming up here. Another half cut thing. And we'll see what the reaction we get here on the half-hour charts. But I'm distracted by the market. But this RSI, he had so much complexity on it. He had moving averages on RSI, and he had this above that. And I'm like, you know what? When he showed me the 3-period RSI, I said, that's where I want to live. I want to live on the 3-period RSI. I live on the cutting, bleeding edge of RSI. I want every signal I can possibly fucking squeeze out of an RSI. If I'm going to use the gauge, trust me, I'm going to find out where it spends a lot of time on the gauge, and I'm going to buy a gauge that fits the fucking time it spends there, okay? That's why you fix the scale on your fucking chart. Where are you living? I mean, what makes you think that you need to know about fucking 500 pips below you right now, today? I mean, really think that maybe I think the Australian dollar could move 500 pips in like a day. Like, it would be insane. What was going on over there that, you know, what would happen that would cause that? I guess that's the fundamental view of like what could possibly happen. I mean, at the end of the year, when nobody's participating in the markets, that's the only reason why you're seeing a wick on the yen. There's nobody there. People closed out their trades. It's like this. It's like this. It's the ultimate Asian session stacked up. I mean, people aren't used to markets being closed anymore. Bitcoin's open all the time. Everything's open all the time. 24 hours is life. This never stops. You know, these people boo-hooing about Christmas, it doesn't stop. So what? It's just a fucking day, dumb shit. I mean, you got it's just a day, man, that people picked. Oh, well, I got to pick a day to honor this person. Okay, well, we're going to pick this day. Sometimes they pick a fucking same day of the week deal. Oh, don't you know that's just always on a Monday, dumb shit? Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, thanks for the pro tip. I can get on with my fucking disturbing life of trying to keep up with the latest meme or latest rewrite of software. To me is the biggest fucking detriment to mankind. I'm waiting for that Yang guy to come out with you get $1,000 a month plus. I guarantee that you can put a cease and desist order on some fucker trying to improve a program that's already reached its limit of capacity of what it can possibly do anyway. So why are you putting new fucking facelifts on shit? Like when I go to the strip mall, I say, you mean to tell me you did a facelift on the strip mall and you updated it and now it looks hokey? It's like, well, it's tidy and hokey. Dude, I had no problem getting it when I just part of the parking lot, part of it, pave it so I can take the potholes out of the parking lot. I don't know what to tell you. Get the fucking thing updated. But I don't know. People are getting a little bit too dialed in, I think. They've already got so much money. They don't need to trade. Half-hour charts are updated. Also scramble the half-hour chart. Now, nice thing about fixing the scale there is if we go to the half-hour, I got to make sure I'm in the right place in the landscape. As we drill down, we see we need to keep stretching this out to make any money, to get any kind of pattern to show up. So this is another thing I've done for probably about 5,000 hours now is fix the scale, try to chase down where we're at. Okay, this is a different market than the other one. I was doing pound CAD earlier, looking for a pullback. Here, another reason why you don't want to trade more currencies than you could possibly get your brain around, because I've just lost track of this other golden trade I had on in my mind. A pound versus CAD, right? What happened to that? How about EuroCAD? Some guy made a comment about EuroCAD, and I'm like, are you nuts? Okay, look at EuroCAD. Wow, look at this pullback. Look at this thing. Where are we at? Okay, that's the daily chart, so it looks like the sellers bounced off this ceiling here. Now we're going to have to go to the 1 hour chart. Oh boy. See, this is why it's hard to make money. Saying that, I'm going to look at the daily. This is empowered trading. Let's look at the daily chart. Because what they're distorting is pips. This is what the 30-minute chart looks like in comparison to the weekly chart. Now, they'd say, well, that's not a weekly chart. I can't tell what's going on. Well, this is what the market sees. You think the market can see a 15-minute chart? No, you see the 15-minute chart and you see, is there any trades on the 15-minute chart? Is there a way to make money on a 15-minute chart? Is there a way to make money on a half hour? And you're like, do I have a trade plan for these kind of price pulses? A 4 hour chart, I could see it. My strategy would be, I think it's obvious. This has already been stop hunted, so we're probably going to, I'm going to start my first buy limit here. And I'm going to go all the way down here for the next 2 weeks. Here I'm going to buy more. All the way down. Whatever I can afford. Here I'm going to buy more. All these vacuums I'm just going to place fucking endless. Here I'm going to put in the biggest fucking order in the world. I have some scalps built into that. Call them scalp banks. You know, you just have like a bank of orders in here. You're just going to have to put all these orders in. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to fill. And I don't have to babysit that either. And if I was trading this many instruments, I would trade at pure limits. I would just go, limits down here. Okay, next problem. All right, limits there, down here. You know, it's stupid, right? Sell limits up here. Definitely here, right, on this top ledge. Here, you know, some scalps in there. I mean, it's not that hard. This thing's going to go ripping north. I wouldn't even try to sell this, honestly. I mean, once they hit this thing, if they keep cutting north and they start to build a wall, you know, you could make fundamental arguments. You built a wall, crude oil's going through the roof, on and on and on. Oh, here it is. Here's the pound CAD that I was doing when I started. Okay, so we pulled back to the entry. We got our fill. We bought that area here. And we hopefully scalped out of something with this brutal spread of 3. So the 15-minute chart does have trades on it. This is another reason why. If you have a canned ticket that's going to drop limits, or if you have a robot that could drop limits based on volatility currently, that it would just be long because it got into limits, just because it bought low. Pure limits here without regard to any structure issues. And this is what I'm trying to do with my EA, is have it just throw in orders based on the current volatility or projected volatility. If things heat up, they're probably going to pause. How long will they pause? They're going to heat up again. Do I want to get involved? That's in power trading speak. Do you want to get involved in a trade? I'm very involved in this relationship. Euro versus pound is a wackadoodle pair. Now, euro versus pound to me is just pure noise. There's no way around it. It's pure fucking noise. Let's face it. Wow, what a mess. What a fucking mess. Look at this. I'd say this is a limit trader's dream. Set it, forget it. Trader's dream. Look at this 4-hour thing. What a fucking mess. Seriously. Do you see any... I mean, is this really your trend over here? Well, yeah, Joe called me up and said, you know, I think it's going up here. Okay, you know, what it's really doing is just, it's cutting through this 50 pip window and this one, and then it's like, we're done. See you, bye. And then it's like, okay, let's come down and grab this vacuum. Okay, see you, bye. All right, let's grab this one. See you, bye. Back and forth, up and down. I don't even see a top become a bottom on this thing. It overshoots the runway too far for that. Maybe here, bottom became a top. Is this your trend? Here's your channel. Another thing I learned from RSI guy was, here is the parallelogram. Here's your reversal. Project off of here. This is your classic price pulse. Here's your top become a bottom. I guess I was just too angry to see it. At the 50-yard line, just to go good old 50 pivot. I'm looking more at this window. Come down, trap, come up, fill this void, come back, fill this void, just in wicks. And if you take out the clothesline, it probably, from a robot that trades just breakout systems, it really only sees this. If you take off this, and this is more realistic as far as a breakout system. It's here, you don't care about the direction of the market. You just care about volatility. So a robot that's built on trailing sell stops just is like doing this shit. It gets trapped a little bit, and then it only puts in sell limits if they're it's a higher low, right? But it has to delete this order. It has to cancel, replace. Cancel, replace, 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 because we don't want to get filled down here short and get trapped in this one to go there. Then on the way down, same thing would hold true on a hedge. The guy said, why would you want to hedge? Because if you're short, 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 and you're long here, you're in a hedge by default. Here, you're in a hedge by default. This 1 hour of nothingness, see how your eyes drawn to nothingness here? Because the template's forcing you to examine this 4 hours of nothingness. Quite a bit of nothingness here now for the trailing cells that evaporate every 15 minutes, how long did they last? If they last 4 hours, maybe they last 12 hours. So you are going to take a little bit of, after 3 bars go by, you've still got this cell stop that has not been deleted, but it becomes a great trade. Because your robot is trailing and it's actually picking up by default. You don't have to know where the market's going to make money. It just starts to fill you and you're short. And here, you don't put any more buy stops in this move. You only put buy stops when you get a higher low. Right? It's breakout trading, volatility based. Buy stops are stacking up here. Sell stops are stacking up here. You're in a hedge. Both legs made some money if you had scalps to get out. So it's not necessarily the fear of missing out. There's so many reasons why you would want to be in a hedge, and you really are, whether you like it or not, because if you're flat, you're kind of in a hedge. This is like the idea that if you have knowledge of a crime, you're just as guilty, even though you didn't participate in it. I don't know if that's a good analogy, but it's that kind of possibly illogical relationship. If your buy stops are stacking up here, now, honestly, this one here, if it does linger, then it's a problem because you're trapped long. But this is the key. The only time a robot, if you have a robot that's built on a 50 pip bar, it's different than the robot that's built on a 25 pip bar. The 25 pip bar robot trades bigger and harder and faster. Half-hour tickets, 1 hour tickets, they're stacking up here. They're stacking up. You trapped a little bit. You stopped out a partial. You're hedged, right? This hedge funds are to reduce risk. Hedging reduces risk and it costs more. Anytime you reduce risk, smashes into this vacuum, clears out all this. The smart money selling on limits there. But it's all smart money. It's smart money to manage your risk is smart money. This smart money thing, what the fuck is that? The smart money. Dude, smart money's got fucking algos that are like, dude, let's put on a hedge or let's tighten our stops. Don't forget the people that are tightening the stops there, the robots that are tightening the stops there, because the volatility is drying up. They're protecting their capital, and it's the entry for the breakout traders to initiate. This may be the first thing I would show somebody if I was ever trading. Ever. I would show the pure volatility chart right here. That little stupid tick bar chart that's denying time. Why would you want to take data out of your charts? This is just ridiculous. Well, I'm a minimalist. You don't understand, man. Shut up. Oh my God, you're killing me. So that's why I made my bar as big as I could to emphasize the volatility of the market. The 1 hour chart is completely different. And here you can see the traps better. Now this is really very good place to start trading, honestly, if you've never traded. Do not deny this window. And get rid of those candlesticks, for God's sakes, because the only fucking thing that's going to matter is the range. And the candlesticks diminish range. They don't pay attention to range. They pay attention to the body. The body in MetaTrader is like 10, the ratio is like 10 body to 1 wick. I mean, the wicks are almost unviewable. When ICT puts up a chart, 50-minute chart of wicks, it's ridiculous. It's just, I mean, how would I get a microscope out to fucking, I'm zoomed in. I'm at 200% on Windows. I can't get any more zoomed in. Stop it with the 15-minute wicks. People, step away from fucking MetaTrader's candles. They suck. It's the only thing that probably NinjaTrader has on it. Any other platform has on it. That, I don't know, my bars, I like my bars big. Big bars matter, man. They really do. Look at these fucking, it tells a story of volatility here. And people say, well, I need it to be green up, red down. Do you really? Are you fucking retarded? You don't have a trade plan for up and down. Who cares? Shut the fuck up. I don't know. I don't get it. Dude, I've watched more video because I'm just an enthusiast to the nth degree on people posting videos. I'm like, let me hear what you have to say about the market, please. And then these people are like, I'm gonna be your coach, your trading coach. My God. I mean, it was not impossible. I see why people are charging, though, because it's literally like, I'm sure some of the people you encounter are going to be like, they can't even make it to their platform. They don't have time to do anything. That's the guy that goes to Guitar Center and buys a guitar. Do you have a guitar that plays itself? I don't have time for this. I'm not one operator. But yeah, this is tough. I think I could show this to somebody that's never traded because I show this to somebody else. I go, dude, where's the candlesticks? See, that's what's fucked up about trading is it's kind of like if you show up to a gig and you don't have a Les Paul or a Stratocaster, people are like, what is that you're playing? I don't know. For all the so-called freedom people claim, they're certainly attached to these cliche things, you know, and this... are the bulls in power or the bears? Who's in power on this part? My favorite trading classes are when the people say shit like, now the green bars. Okay, who's in control on that one? Well, that's debatable if you're a hedge fund manager because maybe I'm just getting filled and I'm gobbling up other people's tickets. I mean, the idea that somebody's in control, okay, all we're going to say here is that the price finished higher in the last hour than it did in the other last half hour. But who's in control? Come here, give me that. I mean, isn't the price just being decided? That's another thing that I just having a hard time believing is that all the big boys every big boy is correct about their trades. So then the market would just stand still, right? I mean, some of these banks must be losing against the other banks. What a weird... It's like saying I was out driving and I was going 100 and people are like, miles an hour or kilometers? Oh, I got to tell you what, you know, facts are violence, right? What, I got to tell you everything? The fuck? What, I look like a genius? Come here, step away from the MT4 platform candlesticks. Whatever you do in your life, I don't care how bad it gets out there. I don't care if there's a zombie apocalypse motherfuckers breaking down your door. Get those candlesticks the fuck off your chart right now, I'm saying. That's my... just say no to candlesticks. Big bars matter. That'll be my trading course. No, I just don't know if... it is possible that you could take a class from somebody. I mean, come on, there are people, believe it or not, that have probably graduated in power trading and they're confidently making 10% a month and they feel good, you know. They're like, I love life, I love Fibonacci extensions, and I'm sure it's happening, you know. I'm not saying that that's not a path for you. I'm just saying for me, it's like watching somebody ride a bicycle, a tandem bicycle, and saying, okay, are your feet on the pedal? Dude, I'm just having... Can't we just get more than one bicycle? No, it's either a cipher bike or a bat bike. You have two bicycles you can ride. What a depressing... I mean, and then when they say stuff like, no, make sure you back test this bicycle. Can't I just skin my knees a little bit and figure it out as I go? Well, you could, but I don't know. It's just such a terribly depressing situation. And then the fact that people are giving them $5,000. Okay, I got it. I mean, I know hookers that charge $5,000, and maybe the satisfaction levels is the same. Who am I to say what people find? Right? I mean, teach his own. There's all sorts of things that fill in the blank there. One man's beefs, another man's, venereal disease. So yeah, this chart here, I think if you had a beginner trader, would be obviously the best choice because And also when you explain stuff to people, it makes it easier to trade. That's pretty much why I do the trading thing, because when I put a trade on, I just think, yeah, well, dumb shit. Like, remember what you said. And most people will say, you really should stop drinking and driving as they drink and drive. As I talk to you on the phone, I just watched this guy in northern Michigan on an old tape from 2 years ago. He's a cop. He gets pulled over by cops, and he keeps saying, yeah, but can't I just sleep it off in the woods? I mean, we're both cops. And they're like, dude, you're so under arrest. We're filming this, you dumb shit. It's just incredible. The denial of reality knows no bounds. And I think with money's involved in the markets, of course, if you made $4,000 on your last trade, I mean, you're thinking, dude, this is easy. And, or this is amazing. And all sorts of things would happen. And if you lost $4,000, you'd be like, I knew it was a scam. I mean, some people, the victim would say, I know it's a scam. Or nobody can make money at this, and this is too hard. And I just think people have too much data, honestly. That's why I call my channel Simpleton, and people didn't get it. It's just about being very simple and very caveman about trading. And let's just have a bar chart. What do you have today for data? High-low. What was the open? Was it bullish? Okay, shut the fuck up. We're volatility traders. I mean, volatility's king. Forget what I said in the other video. It really goes like this. The checklist is, what's the volatility? How much does it cost per pip? And can I trade the Australian versus the dollar, because the volatility is so low and the currency is so cheap? I can really be very much expert, and I can make. It's like when you traded corn. Corn was the trade for people that didn't want to risk a lot of volatility. You didn't even think the market. I would look at my monitor and think, "You're kidding." I mean. Or how about oats? I had a Chicago Board of Trade data feed, and oats would trade like every 22 minutes a tick would come in oats. And low margin requirement. Nobody's making money there. Nobody. I mean, the only people are there is like producers, and you're basically in a warehouse waiting for some guy to come in with a return item that you can resell on eBay. I waited 5 months for that. That's what the forex market's just price discovery. That's another thing from the world of trading books. I read this term price discovery, and I thought, well, what do you mean? Like, hey, look, we found a new vein of price over here in the wall. Hey, look, Joe, you mean like Discovery Magazine prices? Remember Discovery Magazine came out, or Omni? This was when we used to read magazines. I don't think I've looked at a magazine. My dad used to complain that the ink got in his hands in the newspapers in the morning. He goes, God, they have the cheapest ink at the fucking whatever Times, they call it. You put that in your bird cage, right? That's the whole reason to buy the paper is to put in your bird cage. Okay, I'm going down. I'm an old person, so all this stuff recurs to me. But the clunkiness of high-low prices to me is the ultimate and minimalist approach to trading. We don't need to know the story. I'm so sorry. I know you think your story is very important. Officer, it was a lieutenant that got pulled over in northern Michigan. Dude, if to watch that video is mind-blowing. The guy wouldn't get out of the car. Kind of sleep it off. So not only did this vacuum fill here, but you'll also notice in top bottom, without putting momentum into it, there's really, I'm going to say without the line chart, I'm going to take momentum out of this whole formula. This is just about volatility over time. This top becomes a bottom on that wick on the 4-hour euro pound. So there's a top bottom, and since there's less data, it's easier to see a tick top bottom than it is a closing of the hour or the day top bottom, which is a completely different punctuation. And then you got high, you got the close, right? And then think about this. Not like that's not enough data. People put candlesticks on, so you have open, high, low, close. Okay, that's great if you've only got one piece of data, but you're already over your head in data. You don't need to know anymore. You really don't need to know anymore. knowing more, that's why they call it beginner's luck, because people look at the chart and they go, looks like it's going up, I'm just going to buy right now. Now, we can see from this kind of charting technique, it's low volatility, we have a vacuum pressure above, we have a huge thing here created by a big bar. We'll just call a big bar a little bar. We don't have to fucking say whether it's a engulf or, well, actually, you can see the engulf. The engulf is the theory that once you get into a new price and then it kind of comes back in. Right, so I could save this as a template. And I probably should, I guess. I don't have this template up typically. Because I'm looking through the closing prices, and that's why I made the bars bigger. I think the secret to trading is less is more. In analysis, we don't need to see 140 indicators from the no-nonsense forex guy. It's more like the nonsense forex, and that's like the over-analyzing forex guy. And you could have amazing screens set up. You really could. I'm going to put that template on everything, come to think of it. So I'm going to put it on the Dow Jones right now. I'm taking all the momentum out of the market. I'm just looking at pure price action. I would say range action. Now this is a completely different view, and I probably shouldn't have the grid up there because that's not the right size for this market. Let me pluck that out. Now I'm going to do a big zoom in. I have to fix the scale so I can jump around some time frames on the volatility index here. Another thing, we don't have to look down. Forex nonsense guy is right about indicators. If they're in the lower panel, you're losing vertical real estate. He's right about a couple of things. It's not a complete goof, but we just broke out in new highs, and we're going after that ultimate high here, historical high. How do we know? Because we can just, with the scale fixed, and we can't live down here 1,000 points below on the Dow Jones. We can only live here. The only place we can live. And what the fuck is going on here, people? Now, what's cool about this is I can just about see the spread. Now I can change time frames. Weekly, daily. This is obviously a trap. The scalpers have sold into that. They're short. They will probably buy back anywhere. And now we don't have to be disturbed by the closing prices or the opening prices. We can just say we know there's a vac here. There's a hole here. Right, there's a void here. There's pressure building up there. I'm sure that people that are going to cash out are going to cover at the bottom of that box, all the scalpers. And I would say even to here, a lot of people have targets on this last on top. But this is pretty much the window. This is why we don't want to pick an exact price. We just want to have enough ticket resolution that we can scale in and out of the markets without having to worry about this shit. Not to mention, think about the dumbass goober that found a very small, the smallest range. Here's the rule list. The smallest range gets the bigger tickets. It's a hedge. You could have been filled. You're still hedging. If you put a buy stop here, you're exposing yourself to a possible hedge. Buy stops and sell stops, you're a hedge trader by default. Look at this. No fills here. The only trap. Look at no fills. Here's another entry for the, I would say this is like the best. This is why the ATR bot makes sense. And it does make money because it does run a trailing stop. Buy stop stacking up. There's bigger tickets in here on this then. Even though this is a winning trade to buy here on a stop, if your sell stops here, see the hedge trap. So yes, hedges are no longer, they're just like a regular trade with one more punch in the face, okay? Instead of two punches, it's three punches, or at one punch, it's two punches. Now, all you're doing is adding a little bit more trading frequency to your trading. Like if you had a buy stop here on this small bar, right? And you have a sell stop on this. If this cancels, and there's no sell stop on this one because This is too big a bar. The only qualifying bars. I always want to restart what I'm saying and try to smooth it more simple. Let's say your criteria, you built a trade plan that uses a stop that is this big. In other words, your system runs a stop that is this tight. So when you get filled here, I mean, your entry stop is that tight because the bar is like this, and you're going to say, well, I'm going to go for a little more confirmation. It's going to actually not just take that bar out by a neck, but I'm going to get, extra confirmation. That's how a lot of people trade. That's textbook, right? Now this bar is slightly bigger, and maybe you're not going to put a buy stop here, but maybe you are. A different robot's going to come in there, hopefully. And a more aggressive bot with a wider thing is a trend bot is going to place a sell stop here, and he's got coverage here. Because the scalp bots are going to come in on this. Only scalp bots are allowed to get in on that, and they scalp to here, and you have to have cascading scaled out, and this portion of the bot made money, and maybe there was a bot that got trapped on this, and it's still holding. But there's no bot that's going to get in on here and break out because it's too big. It's waiting for this bar. It's waiting. You're not waiting. It's waiting for this bar. Which bars is it waiting for? It's waiting for this one and this one. It's waiting for that one. It's short right now. Hopefully you can see you're coming into the seller's window and you've taken something off the table. But if not, a sophisticated array of bots is going to take advantage of these small bars, scalp it. This bar doesn't qualify. None of these bars qualify. Not until here is there any trades you could put on the daily Dow Jones. Daily. In this one instance, it's not really ideal because you have quite a bit of risk on a daily chart. That's why God invented the 4-hour chart or the 12-hour chart. Cut it in half, which you could do an MT4. There must be an MT4 stop bot. I'm sorry, MT5 will do it. I don't even know. There should, for all the rave about MT5. Which I could barely tolerate the graphics because there's something fuzzy about it. I can't even put my finger on it. Something wrong, I just don't know it. Let's go to the other currency pairs. How about the famous pound New Zealand? I'll just go pure range. It's always a good place to start with, is with reality, that the market, in essence, is just this. It's just about range. Because to somebody that's in big, volatility is not their friend unless they're right about the direction. So for hedgers and people that do, I just think it's about technique. Your technique, your tactic, your trade plan. Your trade plan should dictate what you can tolerate as far as pips. What per trade, what's the cheapest you can get a trade going? Who wants to trade so big on each decision that they need to use fantastical tools that really don't exist? That's why the search for the Holy Grail is existing, because people think that somehow that's going to save them from math. The math of each instrument has its own pip, volatility, and price, right? So if you buy the British pound, it costs you more margin because it's a more expensive currency. Australian dollar, you can pretty much trade like a goof. It's like trading corn or oats. You go in the British pound and it's smashing around, and the news comes out and it spikes, and people are like, what the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck? Euro versus yen. First put up the price grid of price movement, and then figure out what could you psychologically tolerate per unit cost. Obviously, you make more money when you have a high-end restaurant that has big-ticket meals, but who's going to pay for a big-ticket meal when you got ugly waitresses, right? So you have to first you have to have hot waitresses. I mean, there's definitely got to be some procedure here. So do you want to open a little baby coffee shop and make a couple $1,000s a month, or do you want to be a heavy hitter and invest $1 million in hot babes that are going to serve hot food? You know, I mean, supposedly unique boutique food. Are you a boutique trader, or are you just a person that's looking to just pick up some money because these seem like very simple ideas? We don't have to be overly concerned. I don't even think the over concern. Actually, honestly, the boutique thing, you still have to be so meticulously orientated. Then you'd really have to place orders more carefully because they're bigger tickets. You know, the bigger that ticket is, the more scrutiny, the more pressure, the more kind of attention. There's got to be a balance point. Between overly intensive and sizing as opposed to, okay, well, this is not, it's the 10% or the 20% of risk of your whole life kind of view of risk. But everything has its window of comfort zone. And of course, to be uncomfortable has its, there's power in being uncomfortable because then you appreciate when it's comfortable, I guess. Contrast ratio. But that's the thing about the noisy market versus the market that's screaming in one direction. And is it on your side? And are you riding the golden move? Are you riding the Holy Grail entry? And that's why people would say let your profits run, because it's like you spend all that time getting into this one trade and God damn it, you go out there and you do that. But you don't have to be like that because you wouldn't want to be like that in these markets because each market has its own opportunity. If that's true, then it's like going to the Olympics and participating in every fucking category. Why would you? I mean, if you're really good at a couple of things there that are on the running base side, maybe not powerlifting and running is not going to be. How could you be a powerlifter and a runner in the Olympics? You're going to specialize, right? You're probably going to have to do that trading. You're probably going to find, okay, this currency pair for that amount of volatility, for how much money I have, I can get into, that doesn't bother me, the equity swings. I don't mind being in this trade. Okay, that's it. And looking for more money when the market's moving in your direction and saying, well, this is just a fucking ridiculous market. It barely moves. Let me move into a bit. That's not the problem. I mean, the problem is that you're not going to solve that problem by going to a different market. The problem is you don't like the amount of effort, how much money you're making with the amount of effort. Well, just double up your size in the market you're in. There's no need to go to another market. It doesn't make sense. I mean, I get the fact that the pip moves are bigger per pip per the size you're trading. That's another size issue people don't talk about. It's not that you're just trading a 1K. It's what instrument are you trading a 1K on? Are you trading oats or are you trading soybean oil? Now, soybean oil was vicious. It was like euro versus yen. Unbelievable. I mean, soybean oil, if you got that trade, because that is the byproduct, and the soybean meal was cheaper to trade, and it was a creeper gear trade because soybean meal is a leftover thing from the soybean oil. And you could tell it was not near as volatile. It was not as high as margin requirements. Margin requirement goes hand in hand. That's why when I saw forex and they had the same margin requirement basically across the board, the only thing that's changing here is that the more expensive the currency, the more dollars it takes to control the currency. And hedging also doesn't use any more margin. Most brokers, if you're hedging, some brokers, this zero margin requirement to be in a hedge. Yes, you can hold a leg. That's another hedge you could be in, is holding. The guy was talking about a 20 pip move. You could hold a 200 pip move, let a leg off, drop a leg, let the market retrace, go flat. It's all well and good until the market goes into a a serious, fast move in one direction. I'm not even going to say a trend. I'm just going to say a very fast move in one direction. In fact, the word trend, if there's any way you could teach people this game without that fucking word, would be an amazing feat and probably be the best fucking thing that ever happened. Because if 90% of people are losing in trading and all you hear is 90% of people wanting to be trend traders, maybe there's something wrong there too. No nonsense forex guy doesn't trade reversals. That ought to be a clue that you should start trading reversals. Low risk windows. I'm just saying. Think about it, people. I'm trying to drill down into this New Zealand. I just think I saw like a 2-pip stop on here. But yeah, seriously? Come on, people. I'm trying to see if they stop onto this guy, on this broker. How many pips did this thing... And this is what I found very fascinating, is that on a daily chart, you're looking at this window here. Look at how they took the price down. Without regard to time frame, because we don't know when this happened, don't forget. This, another thing, I think this is for the narrative trading style, which talk about the kind of the storybook of the market unfolding. This really is not that kind of story. To me, this is just about a beast that's stomping in the forest, and we don't care how he got there. We just know this is the path of burn. You know, the forest burns and it grows again, but this is the burnout. This is the path of destruction. Just trampling all around there. Nothing wrong with breakout trading, honestly. I don't know why people... It's only because people don't know how to do it. I'm a trend trader, not a breakout trader. Okay, well, how are you getting these fucking trades, man? I don't know, it just pisses me off. That's why I go off on these people that are just talking harebrained shit on YouTube about how... Well, we're waiting for... What we need to see is like a bullish... Do you need to see a bullish engulfing candle, you dumb fuck? They just auctioned this thing below this 100-yard line. I got a pack of limits down here. Do you think I give a fuck about the 5-minute chart at this moment in time on the daily chart? I'm like, holy shit, look at that. They filled me. You motherfuckers. And then I hold on to it, and I could even run a trailing stop on that and never get stopped out till here and be like, well, they stopped me out here, but I still made myself 100, 200 pips I made on that. I think when people get fucked up is that at this point they'd be like, okay, I like what you're saying, but can I put a 200 a 20 period EMA on there? Oh, I didn't get to the guy that with the 800 period moving average. I forgot the guy that was talking about that he was a moneymaker. He had an 800 period moving average on his chart, I swear to God. And it was coming in like this. You can imagine on this chart where it might come in like, it's like just clipping here. And he's like, say, getting in here. 800 period moving average. Yes, you could put a moving average on there, but it's like, dude, why fuck it up? Like, here, you know, here's another pro tip. How to make pasta, my version. Get yourself some organic garlic, some really good garlic. Get yourself some really good pasta. Get yourself some really good grated cheese. Get yourself some really good olive oil. That's it. You're done. Water. Boil it up. Rinse it off. Throw the Earl on there. Throw the garlic on there. Throw the cheese on there. You're done. Oh, you need a fork. Why are people making this so complicated? And I'm not going to say it's a conspiracy for them to sell more tickets to this show, because I don't think it is. I think it's just that people are caught in... It's like the wheelhouse. They're in their own echo chamber. I'm going to put this classic volatility template on here. So yeah, we're dipping into this window, but when I took out the line chart, you see a different view, right? You just see this dipping into this window here. We know there's pressure building up here. We have, these are lower highs. When I talk about lower highs and higher lows, I'm talking about bar by bar. It's completely different than what other people call it. Other people say, well, here's a lower high, here's a swing, here's a lower low, Let's swing. I'm not talking that, dude. I can't live over here. I can only live right here in the future, in the now, into the future. The only thing that matters now in this currency pair of New Zealand versus yen is this big monster fucking hole in the daily chart. That's the only thing that matters. That'll always matter. Okay, well, what time frame are you trading? Well, here's the breakout traders. They're already up, right? Here comes a low volatility, a small candle, small bar, small range. Just forget the candles, man. Just forget these fucking I can't stand it. It's the only way I can talk to people, though, because people's brains are fucking wrapped around these goddamn candlesticks. So when you talk about the market to people, oh, see that doji? I have to say that. They're making me say that. I really wish that didn't exist because people would be able to see reality. But we've fallen into these things, like the snare drum. Okay, there's hit songs that have a snare drum that people buy that snare drum sound, It is like, well, the producers use this thing. Oh, dude, this snare drum from there, that's amazing. Let's just put that in there. Fuck this guy's snare. Just have him trigger that really good recording of the snare. So there's nobody really can. Well, it's a language, I suppose, right? We can't have a whole new language for the markets. Still have to have a clue of math here, though. For any pattern you think that's amazing, or you like this kind of setup versus that setup, you still have to say, how much is it going to cost me? How much work do I have to do? Is it even worth it? Or is it something that's worth it, but it's nothing like real life? It's not like, there's no loyalty. The market doesn't know you exist, so there's no loyalty issues. It's not like a job where, the people that work there, they trust you. You have to keep convincing them, do you trust me? I'm not a moron. Let me prove it to you. And also the feeling of having to prove something is very inherent in my view. If you argue with me, I feel a need to prove how I see reality or try to defend my reality. And the same thing in the market, I would say, okay, because of this, that, and okay, problem solved. I'm not in conflict. I'm not blind to the risk. The risk is just the same risk I take driving to the store, which is even higher risk, I think, than trading. The stuff people are doing now that the weather's nice is just mind-blowing. So you have to be very careful now because people think they're invincible when the weather gets nice and there's no more ice to drive on. And it rains a little bit and people think that, oh, it's just rain. Oh, really? It's just rain. Okay, see you in the morgue. Stop it. But see, the more civilized supposedly we get, the smarter the cars get, the dumber the people are getting, I think. Honestly, I haven't been out in years to a venue, and last night was the total obviousness of the problem. It's very apparent that there's a problem out there, people. Just say no to trend trading. But I'm kind of joking away, but not really, because the concept of trend trading is identify the trend and get in it. It's the getting in it is the trade. What I'm saying is the getting in the trade, whatever the trade is, whether it's a range or a trend trade, that is the trade. That is the first fucking problem. First issue is it going to be a stop entry, a limit, or are you going to trade at the market? Are you going to pull the trigger? Are you going to get confirmation and overpay? Or are you going to get confirmation and underpay? Are you going to trade how close are your offers and your bids? How many tickets are you going to trade? Oh boy, well, just one, because that's the logical, I guess, approach, right? Well, it's one at a time, buddy. This is pretty hard. I read a lot of books, and nobody thinks about their first gun being a machine gun, I guess, right? They're like, no, you know what? Give me that 6-shooter there. Let me see if I can even get it to shoot. So I get that. People are going to say, well, that's great. But you'll come to find very quickly that you're going to need at least a Glock 19 or something, and about 3 of them because one might jam. I mean, if you're really going to be that kind of trader. But yeah, if you're just a weekend warrior, if you're just putzing around, well, then just forget about it. But I'm not really about that. I'm about maxing shit out. This is my life, is maxing it out. Give me that. What's the maximum? Okay, and then I'll try not to blow it up. Thank you. Now get the fuck away from me. Let me play around with this thing. That's my view of it. Let's just go for it, man. You only live once kind of theory. Let's see what this thing can do. Oh, I don't know. The manual. You know what? I burn the manual. I mean, most of these things I get, I don't read the manual in the first place because I know better, damn it. I'd rather blow it up, to be honest with you. I guess it doesn't do that very well. Because the manuals I've read are just fucking bullshit. I mean, I don't even see, like, I bought an audio device the other day, and I'm like, what is the sample rate on this? There's no mention. I don't want to talk about that. Well, those are specifications, but you only read through the specifications. They don't mention critical shit like, is it delta or sigma converters? Well, I mean, we don't know. We just sell the thing. We designed it. We don't know. Who knows? What, are you getting all picky now? Anyways, I don't know if that helps, but it helps me. It helps me to complain on the internet. So to each his own, as they say.